answer questions from the cross-section of senators who are present. And you don't necessarily have to give the answer the senator wants to hear, but what you understand from this question and how you want to answer. And you begin by saying, if you know the name of the senator, by name, you say, Senator, this is my response to your question. And so forth. We begin by getting the various senators to introduce themselves so that if you'd like to refer to them by name, or if that give us a list of senators, that would be fine. So on our left, somebody would like to start?
Good morning. My name is Fakila. I am Senator of Rankin-Bond County and I chair the Committee on Health. I'm the ranking member of the Committee on Executive.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Senator Woodley from Bond County, and I chair the Committee on Internet Fair Governance and Reconciliation, co-chair on Hardware Carbon and member of the committee. Good morning. I retired representative Senator Zoe Madapena Grand Jackson, chair of Student Security Pension and Insurance, and co-chair of executive. My name is James Biney. I'm Senator from Maryland County Chair of the Senate Committee on Executive. Thank you for the introduction, colleagues. I'll move for this year is going to be at a lightning speed. So we're not going to waste time. You have the opportunity, Mr. Nominee, to open the floor of the statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Co-Chair, honorable members of the Senate Committee on Executive. Good morning. Said I want to express very deep gratitude to the President, His Excellency Joseph Mwakwakai Sr., for his confidence that he has reposed in me by nominating me to serve as the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs and also the Chief of his staff. This, to me, is a very profound honor and a solemn responsibility that I really do not take lightly. I'm deeply humbled by the opportunity to serve my country at a time when the call to national renewal is very loud and very clear from the President. Again, I thank His Excellency for the trust, for his mentorship, for his leadership that he continues to provide in guiding the affairs of this nation. Mr. Chairman, allow me to also say thank you to you and the distinguished members of the committee for convening this hearing and for providing me this wonderful opportunity to appear before you. The Senate has a very long and understood tradition of being the guardian of accountability, the promoter of good governance, and the defender of sound public service. Your work here, Honorable Chairman and members of the committee, ensures that those who are entrusted with national responsibilities like myself come and stand before you and articulate the highest standard and making sure that they have integrity, that they are competent, and that they love this country. So thank you again for allowing me to appear before you. At the same time, honorable members of the committee, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Co-Chair, please allow me to, just for a brief moment, pay homage to a great son of this soil, the late Honorable Sylvester N. Grisby, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. The late Honorable Grisby was much more than a colleague. In fact, I consider him a mentor, a teacher, and someone that I was really privileged to call a friend. His wisdom, his humility, and the quiet strength that he had left a deep impression on all of those who worked with him, including myself. His sudden passing was a painful reminder of the fragility of life and also the lasting impact that life can make in various service to others. May his soul and the souls of those who have served our country so well continue to rest in peace. Again, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs is the office of the presidency, as you know, and the minister occupies a central role in the functioning of the executive branch. It serves as the principal coordinating organ of the presidency, ensuring that the president's vision, the president's directives, and his priorities are clearly translated into effect across the nation. In my understanding, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs must serve as a conductor of an orchestra, the president's orchestra, basically one who ensures that every instrument of the executive functions properly and plays in perfect harmony to fulfill the president's agenda. And so, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this committee, if I'm confirmed, my work would adhere to this very principle and be guided by the highest standards of excellence. I intend to foster a collaborative environment of mentorship, of discipline, and performance within the office of the President, ensuring that it operates at peak efficiency. The office of the President should reflect the very values that our President stands for. Those values include humility, integrity, service, and resolve. Together with my team members, some of whom are here today, we will work together to make sure that the President's vision is clear, is consistent, and that message is distributed around this country. In pursuit of my mission, if confirmed, I will also work collaboratively with the colleagues across the cabinet to strengthen coordination, to enhance accountability, and ensure that the government operates as a single internal structure within the Ministry of State. Among the key deliverables that our stewardship will aim to fulfill, honorable senators, members of the committee, will be the completion of the renovation of the historic Executive Mansion. The Executive Mansion is the official seat of the Liberian presidency, as you know. That iconic national symbol, which for many generations stood as our symbol of strength and unity, unfortunately today remains unrenovated. The President has made it clear to us that he wants to return the mansion to its former glory, not merely as a building, but a living representation of the dignity of the Liberian presidency and the pride of the Liberian people. And I share the President's vision wholeheartedly. And in that regard, we will focus also on restoring other public buildings that define the Monrovia skyline. Many of those proud structures that once stood as a symbol of a development in our country today still remains in ruin. The President envisions that his restoration plan will not just be for aesthetic value, but as a part of a broader effort to revitalize the capital city, to improve the working environment of civil servants, and restore public confidence in the state's ability to maintain public institutions. Mr. Chairman, I'm fully aware that the road ahead will not be without challenges. The work of reform, coordination, and modernization is demanding. But I take comfort in the knowledge that with your confidence and with your support and the leadership of our President and with the dedication of the team that I will be working with, those goals can and will be achieved. If confirmed, I pledge to work and perform my duties with humility, with diligence, and with a deep sense of patriotism. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Co-Chair, distinguished members of the Committee on Executive, as I wind down these opening remarks, I beg your indulgence for just a couple more minutes for me to also recognize a few very important players in my life and those who have helped to shape who I am today. As many of my friends and siblings, some of whom are in here, know, I'm a product of a polygamous family, one that my late father enjoyed and produced 16 of us. So you see, we grew up with 5 mothers, and we equally call all of our mothers Mama. And in that light, I firstly recognize my biological mother, Mami Rahel, who taught us the dignity of labor. She taught us whether it was making kala or selling kili with it, there was nothing beneath an honest living. I also pay homage to Ma Rachel, my other Pele mother, who taught us about poise and grace under hardship. She was a nurse and she worked under very, very difficult conditions, but she was always smiling. Let me also remember Ma Noai. Ma Noai, she taught us growing up that being Pele means that you are humble. It means that you're smart. It means that you're strategic. But it doesn't mean, if you excuse the expression, that you are stupid. Then there was also Ma Mata, my Basa mother, who always seemed to have food in the house. She taught us to respect all and be prepared to welcome strangers, because in the process, you might just welcome an angel without knowing it. And then, of course, there was my crew mother, Ma Victoria, who for some reason really used to enjoy cooking a lot of pepper. But the fact is that we never stopped enjoying her food. And whether our noses were running and we were sniffling, we still ate. And ate every bit of what was on the plate.
It seems your father had a wonderful time.
I'm jealous in my way, you know. I wish every mother either would allow me to enjoy that, but. One day I asked Ma Vic, why do you like to cook so much pepper? And she said to me, Sammy, in life, some things are sweet, but those things can also burn you going in and coming out. So never overdo anything. Sadly, as I appear before you today, they have all transitioned. And we even painfully lost 2 of them during our senseless civil war in this country. But I believe honestly, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Co-Chair, distinguished members of this committee, that they are up in heaven and cheering me and my siblings, those surviving siblings, on. They've taught us to do good work, to serve our country well, to always remain humble, and to give our best to all that we do. And so, Mr. Chairman, honorable senators, I thank you very much for your attention. I thank you for your continued service to this country. I also am grateful for the opportunity to appear before you. I pray that God will continue to bless each and every one of you, and that He will prosper this country. Let me close by something Ma Noah used to say to us. Children, remember always that a single broomstick cannot sweep a yard, but together you can make it clean. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm deeply honored. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
While the nominee was in speech, the several senators, distinguished senators, walked in. We would like to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we can proceed therefrom. Thank you. beginning with Senator Dillon.
I'm Abraham Darrows Dillon, I represent Marshall County. I'm humbled to chair the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Senate, and I'm a member of the Committee on Executive. This committee.
Thank you, Honorable Dillon. Next, the distinguished senator from Riverview.
A pleasant good morning to all of you. My name is Jonathan Charles Sobe. I represent the people of Mimachi County and I am the chairman of the International Maritime Affairs.
Good morning, Mr. Senator.
Next, our distinguished senator from Bangladesh. Babul first.
You play the superintendent in Daja? They can't say the superintendent in Daja?
For a good minister of It is never too late. Good morning to all. I'm Senator Moto Kane, representing the people of Buffalo County, member of this committee and chairing the Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, colleagues. So, let me once more thank you, Mr. Nandi, for that splendid, succinct presentation. Distinguished colleagues, the floor is open, and the nominee is ready, willing, and available to respond to your questions. So begin with our distinguished senator from Bong County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, thank you for the sitting deliberations. Even though you got two models from Bong County, I want to say thank you to them for your upbringing. For the record, I just want you to just throw light on your professional experience.
Thank you very much, Senator. I started work as a journalist in the very early 80s with radio ELWA. That was my first gainful employment. But if we were to back up a little bit, while in high school, in 1979, I got my first job as a cadet at the Ministry of Public Works. And subsequently, upon graduation, Joe Mogba, the late journalist Joe Mogba, felt that I could do well as a broadcast journalist, and through his instrumentality, I was trained at Radio ELWA, and I worked at ELWA until 1984, when I joined the Liberia Broadcasting System as a producer and news writer. Through hard work and commitment and diligence, we enjoyed promotion to the position of Director of News, and subsequently as Assistant Director for News and Public Affairs. We anchored the evening news and also wrote news stories focusing on governmental affairs and on developments in the country. I was privileged at the start of the Liberian Civil War, like many of fellow Liberians, to leave and go in the diaspora, where while there, to eke a living, we did different forms of work, some of which were very professional, as a social worker, as an advocate. And upon our return to the country in 2003, we also worked at the then national or a company of Liberia, when in fact it only existed in a box. And so we were able to contribute to the development of locale and bring it up to where it became, or we set the framework for it to become a thriving entity before being called at the end of the elections in 2006, being invited to serve on the team of the then Vice President, now President, His Excellency Joseph Nwabuakai. And after 2 months of working on the team, His Excellency saw it fit to promote us to Chief of Staff. And we served in that capacity as his Chief of Staff, where there were 88 or 89 employees, and we worked diligently to promote the government's agenda, to spread the message of what His Excellency stood for. At the end of 2017, I left and joined the private sector, where I worked until 2004, when His Excellency invited me to rejoin his cabinet. And I was privileged, as the chairman mentioned at the opening of this, to be confirmed by you as Minister of State for Special Services, a position that was created out of a desire to have me work close in the presidency at the Ministry of State. Honorable Senator, I served in that capacity and continue, as a matter of fact, to serve in that capacity until a month and a half ago, when His Excellency, upon the passing of the late Minister Grisby, then appointed me to serve as acting minister and subsequently nominated for your consideration for confirmation.
Thank you, Mr. But thank you, Mr. Navedi, the people of Bon County and Banda District, especially the school you attended, we are proud of you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Senator.
Are you exhausted? Next, let's hear from the distinguished senator from Liberty, Silver.
Mr. Nominee, Mr. Sam Stevequoah, quite honestly, the president demanded of the state to appoint a position. For the record, I've known Mr. Queer for a very long time. A good friend, able and capable soldier. I will simply wish you well in your endeavors. You can count on G. We will do that which is necessary to ensure that the confidence the president bestowed in you will be retained by us as well. We want to thank you again for the preferment, and we want to thank the president for choosing you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. Humbled and honored by your kind words, and those words only encourage me to always do my best so that I do not disappoint you and your other colleagues. Thank you.
I will now hear from the distinguished senator from Ontario. I hope this time will be some questions for the nominee to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning.
I don't normally question nominees who should serve as chief of staff to the president. I have a record here. When President Weah nominated Wizard Blamo, I made that statement very clear. I wouldn't want anybody to.
Yeah, so can you hold on to that tradition?
I have my chief of staff. I chose who to be my chief of staff.
Sure.
So the president or anybody who has a chief of staff should know who they are appointing as the chief of staff. The law requires at the chief of staff level the president should need Senate consent so you are here. I have one question. Yeah, this question is not regarding his committee, and President Walker have decided, knowing you, that you can do his job. Well, I'm asking this question because you are not a new personnel in the marshal. You currently sit as Minister of State with a portfolio for special services or projects, and we confirm you in that. So here's my question. There is news or rumor or evidence or video about a quote-unquote presidential villa in Lofa County. We suggest it is a project. And since we are sitting as Minister for Special Projects, what's your knowledge of what's happening in Lofa? Question.
Can I put this special?
Thank you, Senator Dillon. I am the Sitting Minister of State for Special Services, not Special Project, if you don't mind my correction. And
Funny as still
so, and I've heard rumblings of what you allude to, but quite frankly, speaking on the oath, I really don't know what you're talking about. I certainly can dig a little further and get back to you if you want. But the one thing though that I do know, that the Joseph Walker, who's president of this country today, is not someone that will engage in anything that undermines the integrity of this country. He is someone who, from his own humble beginnings, understands what it means to labor for this country. And so the mere suggestion that he will be building a whatever the $1 million scrap to a palace for himself is just a complete anathema to someone that I know. And I again, like I said, the specifics of it, I can get to you, but yes, sir.
Let me make an unusual statement. I would not say should you be confirmed. Normally I don't do it. When you are confirmed.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your vote.
You honor oath. Let me learn first. Do you commit that you will get back to this committee with a full, verified, factual account of what's happening over regarding this quote-unquote presidential villa?
Again, if a presidential villa exists, I will get back to you on it.
If it does not exist, you still
I'll
get back to
you
you.
on it.
So let me remind you now, and then I will link it to something. You're sitting exactly where the current labor minister sat doing his confirmation hearing. And I asked him about what would you do or would do should we make him minister. About the work permit to be given to provide jobs for our people in the labor market in the private sector. And he said he committed there that he will review these things and get back to us. And I said to him, 6 months. I would rather the Senate to bring you back in. So we can understand the work that they go. Plenty of jobs out there. Our people are not getting. This time, anytime after 6 months, anytime we have work permit for our people to get jobs, the labor minister thinks it is an attack on him. He doesn't see me doing my oversight job. You finish committing on oath that you will give information about that presidential villa, whether it's true or not. I will rely on your account and on your commitment. But trust me, they call me driver in chief. We'll drag the matter until we get to the ballot. As a Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Senator, I voted for you because I knew what you stood for.
That really went.
So the fact that you want information in your service to the people of Montserrado and the people of this country is not unusual to me. Again, I'd like to state for the record, should I find any information about the presidential villa, I think is what you call it, I will get back to you. If I don't find any information about a presidential villa, I will get back to you.
Thank you. Meaning the committee, not necessarily.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, for public. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Oh, welcome. While you were responding to Senator Dillon, there's a distinguished senator who walked in, and we'll give him the opportunity to introduce himself. Distinguished Senator from Long Island.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of this great committee. And I'm Senator Prince Kamomoy of Bone County, the Senate Committee Chairman on Police, Means, Finance, and Budget. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, you weren't here. One of his 5 mothers came from Bone County. Two of his 5 mothers.
I'm quite aware of that.
Okay, we give the opportunity to our distinguished senator from Babalu. Senator from Babalu, you can proceed.
Mr. Minister, State. First, let me say, may the soul of the minister rest in perfect peace. Meaning, I'm talking about breathing. Mr. Minister, State, but at the same time, you are in the mansion. The President of the Republic gave instruction to the minister at the time to do a communication to LSCC, knowing that the matter was of urgency. The minister did a communication and sent me a written copy that LSCC should investigate with immediate and get back to me about the superintendent and others that are involved in the issue of the yellow machines in our county. I received my return copy, going through the investigation. After the investigation, the minister was not around when the report came out. As the minister-designate that will be confirmed by this Liberian Senate. And the IT minister that will be called upon by the committee. I want to know whether it is true that the report of indictment is on the desk of the Minister of State. Question.
Thank you, Madam Senator. The report that you refer to is certainly not on the desk of this acting minister of state.
You listen to me? On the desk of the Minister of State, that the desk there. So if it's not on your desk, then a different desk.
Could be, but I mean, all I can say is that that report is not on the desk of this acting minister of state.
Okay. Then, as the IT Minister of State, please, I want you to communicate to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to make sure that the indictment we are talking about is on your desk, because the indictment I am talking about is at the court of Bakulu, which I will be distributing copies to all senators of the Liberian Senate. And I pray, as I close, you said, together we can clean it. Meaning that I believe maybe that there are some debts there that will be cleaned by this minister if confirmed. That's my prayer, because your closure was too good for me. Together we can clean it. So we are waiting for you to find out from the LSCC and get back to the president, not us. Because we are calling you, and we one of the indictments will be given to you, that will receive all indictments about the superintendent and others in question. The president told us it was urgent, and it came out urgently. But thank God you have not received it, because you have to receive it before getting to the president. But thank God the Ministry of State have not received it, but the body have received it. So that's it. That's the assignment I've given to you. We'll be calling you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Senator. I also look forward to getting that copy from you that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Senator. Honorable, you want to come in?
Thank you.
You gave the speech.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman, to the nominee, I've known you for quite a while. The terrain you are about to properly manage is not strange to you. They are on record of managing the current president as vice president for almost 12 years. I'm told when his tenure had expired, other benefits from that office were turned over to the former vice president, Madam Howard Taylor. That's a wonderful precedent, and we want to say thanks for adding value to the office of the then vice president. The records are still in. As a nominee, I just want to ask a simple question. Are you willing to go beyond what you did when you served the former vice president, currently president, as the chief of officer, in protecting and keeping the integrity of that office? Are you willing to go beyond what you did? My first question.
Thank you, Senator Moy. Thank you. The simple answer is absolutely, positively yes. But I believe my commitment to uphold the integrity of that office is made easy by the fact that the current president has set a standard of integrity and accountability that makes it easy for me to aspire to and to be seen as doing something that, in fact, he expects of every one of his nominees. So, indeed, thank you for your confidence. We were privileged to have also worked with you when we were in the vice president's office, and we know what you two espouse. And to all of your colleagues and honorable men and women of this committee, I just want to say your kind words, as I said earlier to Senator that I see those as a challenge to continue to give my utmost to this position, to the president, the success of our country, and to the full implementation of the arrest agenda for inclusive development. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Nominee, and congratulations. Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to make that comment and ask a single question. Thank you.
Welcome. We move to our distinguished senator from Kipmount. I almost said Bongar.
Bongar, please, Senator.
There we go again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations, Mr. Nominee. I am very, very thankful that the President appointed you, which is not strange and it's not surprising to me. I've known you as a boy mentioned from the Vice President's office, and we all know your principle of integrity and humility, which are values that are required in the presidency. I recall we had your confirmation hearing in your last position, and there were concerns raised, and you gave us commitment that the office of the presidency will remain a respected one, and you all will do your utmost to work, and you are proving that beyond measure. I just want to say congratulations. As Senator Dillon mentioned, it's not really our cup of tea to interview who the president selects in that role, because he already knows who he wants to drive his agenda, and he has known you. But the Constitution meant that we do this, and that's why we are doing it. But I just want to say congratulations, and we look forward to continuity from where you started. I want to remind you that the saying goes that the higher you go, they say, well, every new level is a new deal. If you have pressure in your last role, it's going to double or triple. But we trust your ability to remain strong and committed to the values that you bring to the job. On behalf of the people of Kipmount, I just want to say, I want to remind you that even recently, the president at the diaspora engagement did mention his desire to review concession. We in Cape Town have one of the biggest gold deposit that is being mined. But if you visit Cape Town today, you wouldn't see that development there. You wouldn't see the returns. We are depending on that review that will identify gaps where there are in the current agreement, so that Cape Town can benefit from its mineral deposit. So thank you and congratulations. And Nina mentioned that you got my vote because you're 2 months from born. My children father from born. So I can't answer it on way and it on way sitting right next to me and say I want to question why one son of born candidate should excel to such an honorable position. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Madam Senator. I'm privileged, as I mentioned in my remarks, to be working with a team of people that share the vision and the commitment of the President to deliver on the promises and to make sure they are bring people. As the President has said before, are not just bystanders in the progress, the development of their nation, and to see that the resources are being exploited without benefiting them. And so, again, I get the message, I get it loud and clear, and I will engage my colleagues and bring that to the forefront, the review that you refer to. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Senator, for why you are responding to the intervention from Senator Daba. there's a distinguished senator who walked in, and he's from Lofa. Would like to give him the opportunity to introduce himself. You have the floor. You want to introduce yourself and ask questions. You want to relax before you do that. It's up to you. You have the floor.
Let me say thank you to the chair. I'm not really on this committee, but sometimes when important people are coming, you want to raise the occasion. My name is Senator Councilor Joseph Jara. I'm the senior senator of Lofa County, chairman banking and currency, co-chair judiciary, and member of a array of committees, including agriculture. Let me start with a minor intervention. I have a draft bill on my desk from the diaspora, where you have been in charge of. They are trying to have a bill to compare, or not to compare, to have a voluntary collection of funds. That anybody outside the country sending money into Liberia must pay $1 in the diaspora fund that will be used for investment. Mr. Minister of State, as a former deputy for the diaspora, if I'm correct, how much do you know about this, and what do you think about this?
Well, thank you, Senator. In as much as we followed the President's commitment to ensure that Liberians in the diaspora contribute to the advancement of their country, we do have, in fact, a diaspora office with which I did not directly work, but we certainly collaborated. Yes, while we were in the diaspora, we were active for the diasporan community, and we understand the yearning for them to have a voice. And now there's a president that is committed to allowing that opportunity, and so we support that. Again, I don't know the details of the proposal that is before you, but I will be happy to ask a little more questions, take a deeper dive and understand what it is that is being proposed. We've heard a lot about campaigns that include dialogue, and hopefully this one can be a successful endeavor if in fact it is something that is not going to place an additional burden on our people in terms of taxation or so forth. But again, I like to stop there because I don't have all of the details, Honorable Senator.
Okay, it's a clever way to push the matter back to us. Usually when people come for confirmation, they come with some historicity. Is there any reason why Senator Mayama is here today?
I'm the co-chair, now my chair. Order, speak to the issue, go to the witness. Senator Mayaga is a visitor.
He's privileged to always
He always privileged to be here.
Okay, frankly, I'm not seeing on Senator Mayama.
But you are not known for your friend for all the period of time.
Okay,
You finish, I'll be like.
Mr. Chair.
Do you influence into the confirmation? When you say Mayama, you know what it means. I'm asking you right there.
Please control that man, Mr. Chairman, please.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I just want to just comment quickly in that regard. Really, the Honorable former Senator is here because I've been blessed to have been married to his older sister for the past, oh, now she's gonna really kill me. For maybe 40-something years. And so I'm really privileged to have him in the hall for his support. I'm sure Pastor Edith would have loved to have been here today, but thank you so much for being here, Senator. I appreciate it.
So the air is
Thank you.
Okay, let me use this. I have a first question for that.
Yes, you got. Just proceed with your concern.
Yeah. Let me take the nominee. I'm one person who have all been happy with him, but this time I have small children, but he knows. Because when you're first somewhere, you want to benefit maximum. So I want to say to him that he got to do better than what he has done.
Okay.
Because from 12 to 15 years in government, we begin the icon. So we got to do more than that. Thank you, sir.
The fact is, we go even further than 12, 15 years because we're both cutting themselves. So
That was more personal.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. The Honorable Senator for Grandgia now has the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Also
Chair.
the co-chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Witness, mine is in 2-4. One be direct question and then one be an advice. I heard you, when you're presenting, you said that the executive mansion means total renovation. But in the corridor, in Monrovia, in Liberia, our past government said that executive mansion was renovated 100%. Now in your presentation, you are telling this committee that if confirmed, that they will dedicate unity to that building. Will you please explain to the Liberian people? Because perception out there that mansion was renovated with millions of dollars during the past government. Now you are proposing, if confirmed, for it to be renovated. So please respond on this question.
thank you, Senator. It is the President's vision, as I mentioned, to complete the renovation of the executive mansion. And when I was coming here, I had a brief discussion with the head of security regarding the executive mansion because it is the presidential seat. It is also the residence of the president, and I wanted to be clear in my remarks in terms of what I could disclose. I could not for security reasons. Certain parameters were given to me because this is an open discussion. Fact is that the executive mansion is not fully renovated. In fact, by my estimation and those of the experts, maybe we can say it is 40% renovated, meaning the fourth floor is about 70% renovated. There are still rooms that are bolted up. There are still places on the fourth floor with wires hanging and everything. The third floor, and my Deputy Minister of Administration is here. She works on that floor, and also is the floor that the First Lady offices are on. That floor we can also say is around 30-35%, with a good section of it still boarded off. The rest of the floors are really incomplete ruins. All subsequent floors, without being specific, are incomplete ruins. In fact, the situation is so bad that that iconic building that you see that we all have been proud of for so many years. In fact, if you are in the parlors of the executive mansion where important programs are held, now as we speak, water from the roof filters in there while programs are going on. So again, the president has a commitment to restore not just the executive mansion, but starting first with the executive mansion, because that's where he goes to work every day. And we know that our president is a traditional person, the one who appreciates the buildings that we have, and it is his expressed desire that he would like to move in the executive mansion. He's lived in his same house that he built way back when he was at LPMC, and during that part, he still lives in the same house. And certainly, you know, the back and forth movement is not helpful. He would love to move in, and there's absolutely no reason why the president will continue to reside where he is now if that building was renovated. And some of these journalists were taking on a tour before of the executive mansion, the other floors, much to the dislike of the security, because again, you cannot expose everything for obvious reasons, but no, the building is not fully renovated, and I can give you more specifics if you want outside of these, you know, general discussions.
No, he's there. Well, go ahead, you got the floor. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Minister of Destiny, thank you very much. Honorable Minister of Destiny and Acting Minister of State, I've been knowing you for more than 18 years. You serve as the Chief of Office Staff to the then Vice President, now President of Liberia. I can remember 2018, January 24th, when you were turning over the office of the Vice President to the former Vice President, Joao Taylor. I can remember as Chief of Office Staff then, you turned over more than $1.some billion worth of gas and materials, in vehicles. Are you taking that same mentality to the Ministry of State and Minister of State for Presidential Affairs? In the future, when you are turning over to whosoever, are you going to consider that same attitude?
It wasn't a difficult decision, Honorable Senator, because that's what the Vice President at the time, that's what he stood for. What wasn't ours, wasn't ours. What belonged to the state, belonged to the state. And so we did what he stood for. And yes, he still has those same values. And as long as we're working with him and we've taken an oath to uphold the confidence and to uphold the integrity of that office, you can count on us to always do that. I know the budget process has changed a little bit now that we moved to calendar years. But again, the point is that we know how to keep our hands off what we're not supposed to personalize.
Mr. Minister, Destiny. Again, I personally, and being a legislator, I served in the House of Representatives for 15 years during the former president administration, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former president of Liberia. She had a policy in the Ministry of State at the time. Every Wednesday, called it Legislature Day, where they set aside that every legislator from district or from county, senator, or representative at the time to go and see the president, even when I filed it, to discuss with the president the burning issue of your county or your district. Since President Johnson left 2018 to 2025, the last 6 years from 2018 to 2024, that opportunity was not given because I bears in 2006, so I've said more than 3 to 4. This is my 4th president I'm serving. So I follow all of those things. Are you prepared to give that opportunity back representatives and senators. That's why for the opposition, for the ruling party, for all of us to have that opportunity to meet the president, to discuss about our districts and our county. And you prepare as incoming minister of state, if confirmed, it's going to be part of your agenda to discuss with the president to give that opportunity to our colleagues, including myself.
The Constitution speaks about 3 coordinate branches of government, and I believe the framers had in mind that by coordinate, they anticipated that there will be frequent ongoing consultations. And certainly, one of the challenges I see as the responsibility of the Minister of State is to man the numerous gates that provide access to the presidency. I know that our president believes in regular consultation over and beyond just 1 day a week. And so some of the legislators, including yourself, I know you see him more regularly sometimes than I see him. No, but the point being, of course. The point is, yes, the president values your input, the collaboration, and if it takes setting a specific time, once a week or every other week or so forth, to make that happen, we are hoping to working with you and the both houses. Sometimes it's a little challenging with the number involved, but perhaps there could be ways to do it, maybe through caucus engagements every now and then. But I get the point you're trying to make, and definitely it is something that you have our commitment to supporting, to ensuring that we provide greater access to the presidency. Thank you, sir.
Okay, my closing statement, Mr. Chair, Mr. colleagues. Honorable Minister Destiny, I said I've been doing it for more than 18 years, and I've been following your work. So in this life, just by being a co-chair or executive, before I close, I want for you, if confirmed, to invite a committee, because the national issue, we politicize it in this country, that we have spent millions of dollars to complete. So it will be good that the people's representatives go and do due diligence with video, ask for a security permission to take the people's representative that manages the budget, and which of course you're going to use the taxpayer money to renovate, so it can be clear to the public. And yes, this building was not finished. We'll use politics to tell our citizens that it was completed. So if confirmed, please extend an invitation to the senators and the House of Representatives, the both committees, to make sure the building is not completed. Again, I want to assure you, you're a good person. Keep it up. And the same attitude when you serve me as Chief of Office Staff, when you served the Vice President, then now President, for 12 years, now I guess almost 14 years then with old man. Please keep on your good way, and I can assure you, by the grace of God, you have the people of Granville County support, and you have my vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kosher.
Thank you. Honorable Dana indicated that he would like to come back, and he has the floor.
Thank you. Mine is actually not a question of Mr. Nominee. The views expressed here should suggest that, and you adequately agree for competition. Not many persons know your name now. Until you are properly confirmed and you start to serve as Minister of State. I want to prepare your mental state, or do you prepare your mental state? my father always said, the best defense from any explanation is transparency. Once you're transparent, you don't need to explain too much.
That's true.
The late minister, Sylvester Grayson, please read to his archives, was portrayed as a man who he was not. There are people who don't know you. They come to know you. And when they know you, etc. If we are not transparent with information and what we do. The late minister of Western and pains me everything. He died a man with some people false, negative, slanderous perception to be the man who he was not. And some of us fail to do character defense while he was living and being slandered and dragged because of the office he held. We only heard character witness defense of Grayson, who he actually, truly was. When he died, he didn't hear those defense, but he was there. Prepare your mental state. Be transparent as much as you can be. Thank you.
The Honorable Senator from Babalu would like to come back and she has the floor.
As the minister, I forgot something that I want to bring to your attention. I wish you said this that when you were not there, but now you are coming to be the Minister of State proper. There will be another indictment coming up again on the superintendent. Remember that you should request for it again if it comes out. Okay, I will call you and tell you that the indictment is out for the superintendent for another problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Let him move.
Let it go.
Yeah. Mr. Nominee, it's my turn.
Yes,
So, I know you have much appreciation for and familiarity with the office of the Ministry of State, because you've worked there for a while now. And as much as you will most likely be managing the affairs of that office, your proximity to the president gives you an added advantage in terms of being able to give your advice quietly. I have had the opportunity, and many persons in this country have had that opportunity to experience it, maybe from distance, or with Senator McGill being Minister of State, and the kind of bearing he seemed to have had on some of the decisions the president made. We don't want you to be the kind of Minister of State, Senator McGill, who was, because he's a different person, and not necessarily from a negative perspective. But
No, Saja.
We're giving dispensation of the You know, I mean, Senator McGill was in his own class. You are in yours. But there are some positive things, in my opinion, we can draw from the role he played in the past government when he was Minister of State, especially when he saw it as part of his responsibility to give the president his perspective of things. And there's an adage that the longer you stay with a person, the most likelihood that you are going to have impact on decisions they make. And that's the reason why our parents, our spouses influence us, because of the time we stay together. You're going to stay with the president for a while because you're in his office. And I would think it would be a good thing if you were to use that opportunity to get the president to look more deeply into the issue of how we can derive new formula in dealing with our mineral sector. Irrespective of who governs, if we do not take charge of the mineral sector as we ought to do as a government, we are not likely to make any meaningful impact in terms of changing the trajectory of the country.
True.
If you have one company in the country that can accrue almost $1 billion, and the country benefits less than 10% of what that company benefits, then we have a problem. And this cannot be left to the Minister of Mines alone. When the contract is drawn up, by the time it comes to the legislature, it's almost too late. Because here we act individually. And some of those people, the investors, are very powerful people. And they have their own way of lobbying the flow. Not necessarily bribing people, but it's almost difficult to get the legislature reject the agreement. I haven't seen it. I've been in the legislature since 2003. I'm perhaps the longest serving lawmaker in the country. I haven't seen any one concession of that magnitude as ArcelorMittal or M&G being rejected. I haven't seen that. Because they are very powerful people. And so it would seem to me it's the president's office that has to drive that change if we must change the country. I'm one of those persons who do not believe that we're going to change the country by begging our international partners for assistance. That's not my mindset. I think if we can, as a country, especially from the office of the president, change the way we deal with our mineral sector, because that is what God has endowed us with, to change the country. There are poor countries in the world. We are far better than in terms of natural resources that are far advanced. We got gold, we got diamond, we got oil. But if we give it to the people for little or nothing, and then we keep taxing people who are poor to get money, how much more can we get from poor people in taxes? We can generate, in my opinion, if we develop, as a government, we develop the willpower, we can generate an additional $500 million minimum, across the spectrum of the mining sector. Minimum. If we proceed the way we are proceeding, in the next 25, 30 years, look at time we're still the way it looks. Westmore State look the way it looks. So at one point in time, a place like Grand Crew or Riverside will look like Monrovia, and it will need 100 years. So that which is referred to as international best practice, when it comes to the mineral sector, I disagree. That's the same people who derive that which we refer to as international best practice and impose it on us. You will be close to the president. It's important that you keep saying to him, this is perhaps the most fundamental problem we have in the country. See, for instance, the forest sector. When Mr. Taylor was president, he was not getting money from IMF, he was not getting money from World Bank, he was not getting money from African Development Bank. So, whether he plundered the forest or not, that's for another argument. But the bottom line is just from the forest sector, he was managing the country. It means the country has so much potential that just take any one sector, you can move the country forward. So you got the agriculture sector. So, see, Mr. Steve, we can continue as a country like this. It means we will have betrayed the trust and our children. And you know, because when we enter into a mineral agreement for 25 years with those big companies, our children will not be able to change it until they exhaust the tenure given to them. So we are about to go into another one with Mr. Steve. It is my belief that we need to keep them, but not to proceed on the same level for another 25 years and accrue peanut. It's about time that the president's office and you begin to look in that direction. I'm proud to be a supporter of the rescue team. I can say what they want to say because I see vivid change. I'm from Maryland. I'm not concerned about what's happening in Bluff. Not necessarily that I'm disinterested in the livelihood of the people there, but I don't go there to see what's happening. But when I go to Maryland, I travel through maybe 7 counties. And when I come back and I come by way of Basel, I travel through another 3-4 counties. So by the time I go to Maryland and come by the coast back to Monrovia, I've seen pretty much more than 80% of the country. I can see the magnitude of changes taking place in the country. More than 30 years, we've not had a situation to go through the rainy season without the road getting spoiled. It has never happened. This is the first time it has happened. I'm surprised that we got electricity line, Riverside.
Keep it for the super man.
And so if we are able to just tap on that other opportunity you have to be next to the president and say, Chief, the country depends on you for your age and experience. If you don't do it, we don't see any leader next who's going to be brave to do it. We got to change that the mineral sector. We got to change the law. Not necessarily the laws, but the policies. Because we got good laws, but the policies upon which the contracts are derived. If we do not do that, and we enter into another 25 years contract with these people, we're going nowhere. And I am not inclined to support that despite I'm part of the government. So it will be a good thing for you to use your office because of the proximity, the level of time you will stay together, to keep pounding that in the ears of the president, and maybe you will have some impact. My second issue has to do with the mansion renovation. We've gone 2 budget cycles. The next budget cycle will take us to the end of next year. And if the mansion or the Minister of State does not have any consideration in this budget to begin working on the mansion, the next time we discuss the budget will be in the 4th year of the government. the budget will be for the 4th year, because the one we passed now will be for the 3rd year. It means the same promise Madam Sadiq made and she didn't achieve it. That president we have made didn't achieve it. We have made the same promise and will not achieve it. So in my opinion, since the budget is not before us yet, this is the time that you begin by factoring in the budget what needs to be considered for us to start some work on the mansion. And my last issue has to do with, well, it doesn't have to do with you personally. I remember the last time you came for the confirmation of your colleague, the Minister Kruger, spoke extensively on the issue of having ghost names on the payroll at the mansion, or there were people who were not employed going through the proper channels. And we are beginning to get reverberations of the same kind of things happening at the mansion. It was saying the public is getting the impression that we are doing exactly what our predecessors did. I hope that's not the case. Sometimes what comes to the public is not necessarily the fact, but I would think you need to look at something like that. That said, I rest my intervention, and I'll give you the opportunity to respond if you may. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I understand your passion with which you spoke, and I understand how you feel about this, because in a lot of ways, the President has said repeatedly that the resources in this country, the God-given resources, should really benefit the people. But just to backtrack a little bit in terms of the role of the Minister of State, I had the occasion to speak with a very learned and elderly statesman when the opportunity was announced or discussed with the President to serve in this role. And so I spoke with that individual and asked, what do you think is really the role of the Minister of State? And this elder statesman described it in such a way that it made a lot of sense to me. He said, the Minister of State is someone who, if he is standing behind the President or shows up unexpectedly behind the President doesn't flinch. And I asked him to explain further. He said, the President should be so comfortable with his Minister of State for Presidential Affairs and Chief of Staff that if he knows he's standing behind him, you know, even if he appears, as with any of us, if someone appears behind us, we will jump, but that person should not make the President to jump. It means there should be that level of comfort and engagement and advocacy. And certainly, I agree, maybe those were the times and conditions of the Honorable Senator now when he was Minister of State. But certainly the Joe Walker that I know, in as much as he listens, he gives us opportunity to express ourselves, he's not going to allow this Minister of State to be as powerful as we heard that he was at the time. But that being said, you're right. As a confidant who doesn't make the President to flinch, we have a role to play and to keep him reminded of the commitments that he's made. I had the occasion to read a book written by a Liberian blogger and political commentator called Rich Country, Poor People. And he makes a lot of the argument that you advance on the floor, Mr. Chairman, that our country has been so well endowed, but yet the framework has to change if it is to benefit our people. And as I sit here today, you have my commitment that working together with my colleagues, We will continue to advance advisories and give the President our opinion, our honest opinion in terms of how we believe our country can continue to benefit. Thank you for your comments about developments around the country, and it's been a real honor working with you as a member of the rescue team, and we don't take that lightly because expectations are still very high, and we do have a lot more work to do, the President would say. In terms of contractual agreements and what is done with them, Senator Bakla also spoke in similar terms about the need to review those contracts. And again, as I said, I will work with my colleagues to make sure that is brought to the front burner in consultation with the President. Will be able to bring that forward and make that happen. Relative to the executive mansion and the staffing, I assure you without any shadow of a doubt that there is no such thing happening at the executive mansion in terms of ghost names being purposefully placed on the payroll. We've gone through payroll audit by the CSA, and of recent, even the General Auditing Commission commended the Ministry of State for our responses and certified us as having been able to address at least two of the major shortcomings in the last audit report. I work with a team including my colleague, the DMA that you referenced at, and these are people who understand the vision of the President and what the President stands for. We will not disappoint the President, will not disappoint you, and will do our showmost to not disappoint the Liberian people. In the process, as human beings, yes, we will make mistakes, and when those mistakes are made, we own up to them and take deliberate and purposeful steps to correct them. Thank you so much, and I will convey to the President your comments and those of the honorable members of the committee and others who have joined us in terms of the direction you would like to see the Ministry of State go and the role it is supposed to play. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Let me use this time to extend my thanks and appreciation to my colleagues for fruitful hearing. I want to thank you, Mr. Nominee, and our able Secretary. Thank you very much. At this point, this hearing is hereby adjourned, and the Senate will proceed to discharge the witness, and the Senate will convene and will appropriately inform the President as to the outcome of this hearing. Thank you very much.